Hey everybody, I'm Matt Hudson from Direwolf, joined today by Paul Dennen, the creator and lead designer of Dune Imperium, here to talk about some of the new leaders coming in Dune Imperium Uprising, which is available for pre-order right now from Direwolf. So Paul, we've got some new leaders that we're looking at. When you started making this game, what were you most excited about to explore with some of the new leaders that we've got here?
First and foremost, I was excited about the upcoming movie and kind of aligning our game with that movie by featuring a lot of the new characters who are prominently featured in the movie. Also, kind of was excited to explore beyond like your normal house leader, like your dukes and counts. We've got some leaders in this box that are a little bit more unorthodox because the war is kind of broken out now. And who knows who will rise and start to lead people?
Yeah. Well, I think that's a great intro. We've got a pretty good idea of at least someone who will rise and start to lead people. Right. With the first leader that we're looking at today, previously spoiled, Muad'Dib. What can you tell us about where Paul's at now as we're heading into Uprising and Dune Part 2?
Sure. I mean, at the end of the first movie, we saw him heading off into the desert with the Fremen, and now we're featuring him midway through the second movie after he's got his new name, Muad'Dib. He is the leader of kind of the rebellion, the revolt, and he's going to be fighting against the Harkonnens. And pretty obvious from some of the trailers that he will be riding some sandworms. So
sandworms coming in Uprising. So Muad'Dib here has two abilities. One, the signet ability that we've seen before.
Yeah, it's called Lead the Way now because he is now a leader, and it's still just draw cards, still a very powerful and efficient, versatile tool in your arsenal.
I've heard that in card games, drawing cards is good.
It's always good.
It's always good. There you go. And Paul will help you do that. So let's talk about this other ability, Unpredictable Foe. How does this work?
Well, in your reveal turn, if you, as Muad'Dib, have summoned at least one sandworm into the conflict, then you get an intrigue card during your reveal turn. It's unpredictable because you never know. You can't even necessarily plan what you're going to have, but it's nice to draw a combat card because obviously you're already committed to the conflict.
Yeah, it's a real doubling down situation. So what if there are some abilities that can allow sandworms to enter the conflict at unpredictable times?
It's possible that could work for you, but you wouldn't be able to draw the intrigue card if you didn't already have one. So if you drew one that allowed you to summon another sandworm, then you're just kind of doubling down.
Sure.
And as we've spoiled, how the rules work on combat rewards with sandworms, the second and third sandworm, they help you fight.
Sure.
They'll give you 3 more strength, but they're not going to like double or triple the rewards. So don't get too greedy.
At a certain point, you're just showing off with your worm strength. So Muad'Dib, the first of the 3 leaders we're looking at today, and where would Muad'Dib be if it wasn't for our second leader, the Emperor?
Yeah, he'd probably be, in a posh bedroom on Caladan, who knows?
Yeah, his life probably would have been a lot better, honestly.
Yeah, Shaddam kind of set them up.
So Shaddam IV, the Emperor, and has 2 pretty exciting abilities here. Could you tell us about Emperor of the Known Universe?
Sure. I mean, this is like arguably the most powerful signet ring in the game by some measures because it's giving you 2 options, one of which is a Solari and a troop, which are kind of like 2 other signet rings combined. And then the other option, which you'll probably use later in the game, is to spend 3 Solari to take an influence on with a faction of your choice. The drawback, however, is printed right there on the card, says units can't be deployed to the conflict this turn. So Shaddam, it kind of represents that Shaddam is,
can't be seen to intervene
directly.
Exactly.
He doesn't want to disrupt the Landsrat. He can't be seen like waging war against people. So he's kind of doing this behind the scenes.
Sure. And so this restriction is not just this troop that you get from the signet ring, but any other troops generated during that turn placing an agent.
Exactly. So you can't go to like the research station or Arakeen and put anybody into the conflict.
Right. So your garrison gets stronger, but you have to sort of plan your turns out ahead of time if you are trying to get into the conflict because you can't have that one big splash there. And then the other thing that I find really exciting about the Emperor, Sardaukar Commander. So how does this work? We've talked a little bit about contracts in one of the design diaries, so some of that's out there, but 2 contracts that are just waiting there for the Emperor to claim them.
Yeah, so obviously this comes from a top-down design. It's very thematic for the Emperor is the commander of the Sardaukar. So when he is in the game, nobody else gets dibs on any of the Sardaukar contracts. And so you just take them out of the stack at the start of the game if the Emperor is in the game, and he sets them aside, and only he may acquire them when he acquires a contract. And as you know, when you grab 2 contracts for the same place, you only have to send 1 agent there to trigger both contracts. So it can be a very powerful.
A very powerful turn. It seems appropriate that the Sardaukar would enter via top-down design.
Nice.
It seems.
I like that.
So that is the Emperor, and we've got one more. Keeping it in the family. Our 3rd leader that we're going to talk about today for the first time, Princess Irulan, the Emperor's daughter of House Carino. What can you tell us about? Let's start with Imperial birthright. It's a little bit more straightforward, maybe.
Sure. I mean, as the daughter of the Emperor, you are, when you play her, encouraged to visit the Emperor faction, and when she reaches 2 influence with the Emperor, she gets an intrigue card. There are ways that you can go down on a faction track, and if you go up to 2, get an intrigue card, find a way to go down to 1, and then back up to 2, you will get another intrigue card.
Yeah, influence juggling, extremely emotionally satisfying way to fall behind in the game is a thing that I've experienced. So pretty straightforward there, but then there's this other ability, Chronicler's Insight, which seems to have a lot of flexibility to it.
Yeah, and this is why she has 2 pips on her complexity guide there. So when there are 1-cost cards in the Imperium row, it's really exciting because you can just grab one of those with your signet ring and put it directly into hand. And there are some good ones in Uprising. But the other thing is, like, even if there aren't 1-cost cards out there, that second option there, trash a card from your hand, if it has a cost of 1 or more, you get 2 spice. You can just trash a starter card from your hand. Like at base level, even if no ones ever show up, you can still do that on the first round of the game, second round of the game. Like it's nice to get rid of a starter card before you even shuffle your deck.
As good as drawing cards is in card games, destroying cards maybe even better, or at least more, visceral. So, so Princess Irulan joins Shaddam IV and Muad'Dib as our first set of leaders that we're spoiling here for Dune Imperium Uprising. We'll have more on the way, 3 more videos coming to round out the rest of the leaders coming in the game. And you can pre-order Uprising right now from direwolfdigital.com.